Means it's a great opportunity to get you prepared for the weather coming in here to start the week. In fact, Monday will be our coldest day in Atlanta since March 10th. Our highs are only going to be in the mid 50s, which has been where many of our low temperatures have been so far this month. So it is going to be a kind of cold, raw, shockingly chilly day and wet day across North Georgia, and also our wettest day in about 2 months as well. So we've issued a weather impact alert, not for a life-threatening situation, but this is a big shock to the system, a big change in the pattern that we've been seeing this month. The impact alert is in effect tonight through Monday. During that time frame, we are tracking cold temperatures, we're tracking gusty winds, we're tracking, weather that you need the raincoat, but you also need an extra layer underneath that because it's going to be cold and gusty outside throughout the day tomorrow. So let's kind of show you the latest. I just want to show you a snapshot of the day for Monday. Look at these temperatures. There's not much temperature variance. Where we start off in the morning is about where we're going to finish the day in the afternoon. Chance of rain is very high throughout the morning, and even into the evening commute, a pretty good chance of rainfall. So it's going to be one of those waterlogged days where if you can work from home, put a big batch of chili on the stove, yeah, that's the best way to beat this weather. Here's what I'm tracking. Low pressure system to our west. We're seeing all this moisture feed off the Gulf, but it's working on top of a northeast wind, a cool air wedge. If you've lived here for any number of winters, you remember these days where it's kind of cloudy and drizzly and all that. That's kind of what we had today with a little bit of rain working through. But that cold air wedge is not going anywhere. So it's going to keep us breezy, chilly throughout the day. And as we bring in more rounds of rain on top of it, it just makes for a really raw, nasty Monday across North Georgia. On radar right now, we do have some showers I'm tracking moving through. We had kind of the first wave of rain move through really mid-afternoon today. That's kind of tapered off, so we're dealing with intermittent on and off drizzle at the moment. I'll pinpoint on radar some of that rain falling right now. It's in some of our western suburbs, so lifting northeast up through Tallapoosa, Heard County, also into Haralson County, Carroll County, and also Coweta County, a little bit of that light rain. We're also seeing more of that light rain coming in through southern Fulton County, passing in close to the airport as well. Now, what's to come between now and tomorrow evening is another ½ to 1.5 inches of rain on average. So it's going to be a soaker for Monday. In fact, I know radar looks unimpressive right now. It's a little bit of rain, but a lot of us are just dealing with those breezy and cold conditions outside. Watch the forecast track into the morning tomorrow. Watch the rain blossom again on the radar. Forecast track tonight, we see the rain starting to fill in after midnight tonight. So the next couple of hours, if you're out, you're watching the football game, heading back home afterwards, there's going to be some damp roads. Some roads might be a little bit wet, but we're kind of in a lull, so to speak, at the moment where we're dealing with some light showers, but it's not a widespread soaking rain. Watch the rain really fill in past midnight between 2 and 6 in the morning. We see the rain filling in, and as the rain starts to fill in a lot more on radar, we're also going to see some pockets where it's a little more consistent. We're not talking about like a summertime tropical downpour, but it will be raining at a good moderate clip for part of Monday morning. And it's fairly widespread. There's not one part of North Georgia that looks dry for Monday morning's commute. It's going to be raining in the mountains. It's going to be raining in northwest Georgia, here in the metro, Athens, down to the south, down 85. We're going to have rain. So your commute tomorrow is going to be really slow, wet, and, in a way, it's going to be more treacherous on your morning commute. The sun doesn't rise tomorrow morning until right around 8 o'clock, and it's going to be raining. So give yourself extra space in between you and the person in front of you as you're driving out Monday morning. You can see still through 8:30, 9 o'clock, we're dealing with that widespread rain. I will say as we get to the back half of the afternoon, we may start to see more of those breaks coming into North Georgia and less of just a widespread sheet of rain across the region. So 10 o'clock, still a lot of rain there. We see a couple of breaks right around midday, and then here comes another wave by early to mid-afternoon. And then by the end of the evening commute, that one is pulling out. So you can see we have several pushes of that rain working back in from the south and west. And each one of these will bring another just constant rainfall. This is not one of those situations where it's going to rain for 30 minutes and you're done for the day. You're going to need that umbrella. You're going to need that raincoat throughout the day tomorrow. Now, as we go into Monday night and Tuesday morning, the steady rain is going to leave us, but we're left with that nuisance drizzle. The wedge is not gone yet. I've got these little tiny wind arrows on the map. I don't know if you can see them here, but they're showing that northeast wind blowing in and reinforcing that cold, just breezy air. And so we're going to see Tuesday nuisance drizzle less in the way of constant rainfall. And then by Wednesday, yet another weather system comes in on its tail. So big change of the system coming in, and these chilly temperatures today, just a precursor to the coldest temperatures that we've seen since March in terms of daytime highs across North Georgia. Temperatures right now at the door. We are running already noticeably colder than this time yesterday. Tomorrow afternoon, we start off in the morning, upper 40s to right around 50. Then for the day tomorrow, there's not much of a climb in those temperatures. 90% chance of rain at 7 o'clock, 70% chance at noon, 50% chance at 5 o'clock. And yeah, you're going to need the umbrella at many different points during the day tomorrow. And we also have these breezy winds, which just kind of cuts through those layers that you're wearing outside, making it feel even chillier than it actually is out there. Forecast wind gusts. I know it's been a bit breezy today. Those winds again pick up tomorrow morning as more waves of rain move in. So you can see some isolated gusts around 30 miles an hour here in the metro. But when we get up into the North Georgia mountains, we have those higher elevations. And in those locations, we could see some of those wind gusts topping 35, maybe even close to 40 miles an hour. So higher wind gusts. It is a windy and cold Monday morning out there. Not the best morning for the kids to be waiting for an extra 5 minutes for the bus outside. Okay, let's push the forecast track out with those wind gusts to noon. Still some of those gusts 20 to 30 miles an hour. Late in the afternoon, we should see the winds coming down just a bit. Wind gusts around 20 miles per hour. And then with that northeast wind still with us Tuesday, I still think we're going to see some gusts around 20 miles per hour, in addition to the chilly temperatures remaining for Tuesday afternoon. So today, we made it all the way to the mid 60s for highs. Monday, we're talking 55. That's a cold day. That is the coldest day since March 10th. The last time we even had a high in the 50s or lower was March 10th. So coldest day of the season so far. North Georgia mountains, some spots really going to challenge, be struggling to get above 40 degrees, the upper 40s to right around 50. It's going to be a cold day on Monday. So just kind of recapping, here's what we're talking about. If you have tuned in, watching during halftime of Sunday Night Football on 11 Alive, thank you for joining us on 11 Alive Plus. We're talking about our weather impact alert for a cold rain overnight into Monday. And later, we're also going to touch on Hurricane Melissa, which rapidly strengthened this weekend. It's very dangerous approaching Jamaica. We're going to get to that in just a couple of minutes. I want to just recap what I'm expecting for your Monday. Then we'll get to the latest on the hurricane. So weather impact alert, cold rain. This is the first of 2 rounds I'm expecting this week. It's also the coldest air since March. Tomorrow you're going to need the umbrella, but you're also going to need an extra layer because the high only gets to the mid 50s. Forecast track showing the rain filling back in tonight. This is a different model that I showed you 5 minutes ago. This one's called the HER model, the high resolution rapid refresh model. Look at the rain really filling in by that morning commute, 5:30, 6 o'clock, really wet roads. There could even be some ponding or standing water on the roadways. I don't think we'll see widespread flash flooding as an issue, but I do think that nuisance flooding, absolutely. Low-lying points on the roadways. We know that those impervious surfaces do not absorb the rain very well. We could be dealing with that for the morning commute. 8 o'clock showing those pockets of moderate to heavy rain. Lunchtime, similar to the other model, kind of a lull in how widespread the rain will be. And then we see more showers building in late in the afternoon. And then we should see them winding down later on Monday evening. So I've gone with a 100% chance of rain on Monday. I have a really high confidence that we're going to see rain just about everywhere tomorrow. Some of us may only get ½ an inch. Others of us could pick up an additional 1 or 1.5 inches of rain. There's a lot coming. It's a soaker for your Monday. Tuesday, some nuisance drizzle around, 30% rain chance. That chance goes up to 60% on Wednesday again. So there's a second weather system coming Wednesday, especially afternoon and evening. So when we add those two systems together, puts a little tiny dent in our drought situation, right? A good 1 to 3 inches coming over the next 5 days alone in North Georgia is a model comparison which shows that. And this is a big swing in the pendulum from what we've seen in Atlanta so far this fall. We consider fall September, October, and November in the world of meteorology. So in August, we rounded out summer, plenty of rainfall. But we are now running with an over 6-inch rainfall deficit since September 1st here in Atlanta. It's been since the kind of tail end of August 20, 21st, somewhere in there was our last 1-inch rain day. So finally, after 2 months, that is coming tomorrow, and we're going to add to that on Wednesday. So it may help this drought situation. It's not going to wipe it out altogether. We have a big rain deficit, but it will start to put a dent in it as we go through the next week. So drought monitors come out on Thursday. This one came out Thursday. When we get our next one this Thursday, we might see minor improvements, but I think we're going to have to wait another week before we get all this rain out of here to see a little bit more of an improvement there. Okay, high temperatures are also going to be cold. I mentioned tomorrow the coldest day since March 10th. We're in the 50s, and there's just 50s on the way for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is a cold week. You thought last week was chilly, dealing with highs only in the 70s and 60s even? This week, it is much colder. So 50s for high temperatures through Thursday. At the end of the week, we'll climb up a little bit. But this is going to be one of those weeks where, yes, you got to wear a big jacket every single day, or at least a jacket, a coat, not just a little light sweater to get you through that early morning time frame. Low temperatures staying chilly as well. We'll go with low 50s through Wednesday, and then even colder air settles in behind Wednesday's front. So that will drop the morning lows down into the 40s. In fact, I think by Friday, in some of our outlying suburbs, we could be close to frost territory. That is Halloween morning. So Halloween morning, we could be close potentially to frost territory. Spoiler alert for when we get to the 7-day. Halloween night right now does not look incredibly wet. It is looking on the drier side, so that's at least good for trick-or-treaters. All right, I promise you this, the latest on Hurricane Melissa. This, was just a tropical storm yesterday morning, and it has rapidly strengthened since that. It's now a really powerful Category 4 hurricane, and what it's doing right now, it's pretty compact. It's very good structure in the center, and it's so compact, it's like this buzzsaw shape, so it's blocking out any influences that could weaken it. So in fact, we expect more strengthening before this eventually makes landfall in Jamaica. That landfall will happen sometime tomorrow night, western half of Jamaica, but really it's not that large of an island. We're going to see hurricane force winds area wide. Some of the wind gusts at landfall, the maximum sustained winds in the eye wall could be 150 miles an hour or so. Some of those gusts could be over 180. It's really not good news. Catastrophic wind, storm surge could be 9 to 13 feet. Rainfall in some places from what they've gotten so far combined with what is to come. Some of those estimated rainfall totals could be 20 to 30 inches of rain, causing really devastating flash flooding and also mudslides. And some of that risk of flash flooding and mudslides also been affecting Hispaniola and also to come for Cuba. Later, we are expecting eastern Cuba to be impacted by this midweek. Hurricane Hunter's out in this plane right now. One just passed through the eye. They clocked a wind speed of 128 miles per hour at flight level. Another plane has also dissected the center of that storm. These are both NOAA and Air Force Hurricane Hunter planes. They each are slightly different. They measure different levels of the hurricane, what's happening with the wind speed, what's happening with the pressure level on the storm, and what kind of turbulence they're getting. And they also drop these instruments out to the surface that are called dropsondes. And that all gives us critical information that we plug into the weather models, and then you chug out the information from that. You heard in math, plug and chug, right, from algebra classes. Well, they plug in all that information they get, and that makes our weather models more accurate in terms of where the storm's going to go, what the impacts will be, what are the greater influencing forces that they're going to steer each of these hurricanes. Well, this plane that just exited Hurricane Melissa, that also clocked a wind speed of 143 miles per hour. And the bottom line is this thing's actually not done with strengthening. It could become, before landfall, a Category 5 hurricane. Right now, this cone of uncertainty, the next advisory comes in at 11 o'clock, so I'll have that for you after the game tonight. They've got 160 mile per hour winds, Category 5, landfall early Tuesday morning. So really Monday overnight is the approach. Tuesday early morning is when it's passing over, and then by Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, it's moving over eastern Cuba. So hurricane warning for Jamaica, that landfall really early Tuesday morning. And then you notice to the east of there, we still have in Haiti a tropical storm warning with a hurricane watch in effect. The good news for us locally, though, is these fronts coming through that moved through at the end of last week. They helped to steer Melissa to the east. So for the mainland U.S., I do not expect impacts. However, we have countries that do not have the same infrastructure that we have in terms of building codes. So this is going to be an incredibly devastating hit, especially to Jamaica and also in eastern Cuba, unfortunately. So there are several different I don't want to call them storm chasers, but so to speak, hurricane chasers that are down there and going to be documenting what we ultimately end up seeing from this storm. Let me show you a forecast track on this, just so you can get an idea of the timing of the landfall and everything. Melissa continues strengthening overnight through tomorrow. You can see this is Tuesday, 1 a.m. We still see the eye wall itself offshore right in here. We get into early Tuesday morning, so 4, 5, 6 o'clock or so, it's cutting across Jamaica, and then from there passes over eastern Cuba. So that is something we'll watch there, and eventually the Bahamas as well. So far it's been a Category 4 hurricane. Kind of slowed down its intensification briefly today, but it's ramping back up again. So unfortunately is a very dangerous storm that is out there. Okay, so we have a weather impact alert here locally. 55, the high temperature on Monday is going to be our coldest day since March 10th. Really cold day. So let's talk more about the timing of the rain. I just want to show you a snapshot of the next 7 days, because this is not a week that's going to feel like last week. It's going to feel like a different season outside almost, or at least 2 months in the calendar advanced into fall/winter. 50s for high temperatures. That's our average high temperature like heading into December. 55 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, mid-50s. That's 4 days in a row of mid-50s. That is 4 days in a row that the kids need long sleeves and jackets to wear the entire day. Not just a little light sweater, bigger jackets. Like, you got to change the wardrobe out. Change it out. We were just dealing with highs last weekend, right around 80 degrees. Now look where we are, like 50s coming up. So this is fall time, a lot of ups and downs and temperature swing. Tomorrow we are expecting that cold rain all day. We will have a chance of rainfall with the most widespread rain the morning, and again a little window in the mid-afternoon. I think we could see another push of widespread rain. By the evening commute, we're seeing a lot of that begin to taper off, but there's still nuisance drizzle, and especially the morning commute. Chesapeake McNeil is going to be guiding you through that rain pushing through North Georgia. That's going to make for a kind of a raw day. Halloween coming on Friday, though, it gets a little bit better. It's not a warm day. We've had some great milder Halloweens. This is not one of those. This is one of those where we're in the low 60s for highs during the day, and as the sun sets, the trick-or-treaters are heading out. We're like low 50s. Low 50s and eventually falling into the 40s. So make sure the costumes incorporate long sleeves, jackets. You know, I dressed up my first daughter the first year it was cold outside in a Pillsbury Doughgirl costume. All those are great for the little ones. So it is looking better for Halloween the next weekend. Couple showers possible Sunday, but I don't think next weekend is going to be a washout by any stretch of the imagination. Let's recap with tomorrow's rain timing. I'm going to show you where radar is right now, and then we'll go into the forecast track for tomorrow as well. So you can see here tomorrow's day planner. Rain chance through the entire day. Is it going to rain at your house for 24 hours straight? Not necessarily. There will be some lulls where it's just a little bit of drizzle or briefly dry, then the rain will build back in again. So we start off in the morning, low 50s, we'll top out mid 50s for high temperatures. It is going to be just a nasty raw day. Put the pot of soup or chili on the stove for dinner tomorrow. Sounds like a really good dinner. Okay, satellite and radar. What's happening? Why is it going to be so cold and wet and breezy tomorrow? Well, we've got a low pressure system to our west across the mid-south. You can kind of see the swirl right over here. A lot of moisture working off the Gulf. It's pulling in that with that south wind. But what we have in North Georgia is called a cool air wedge, a wedge of cool air, or cold air damming is what we call it. It means that at the surface, and I'll actually take the moment to zoom this out, we have a big area of high pressure up here. And the winds around that go clockwise, so it pushes that cooler Canadian air down the mountains, down the Appalachian Mountains, and cold air is denser than warm air. You ever heard that hot air rises? Well, cold air sinks. So it's right at the ground, this little shallow layer of that cold air, and the moisture works on top of it, so we get the cold air, and then the rain falls over it, and it just becomes kind of a nasty raw day. So what's to come between now and first thing on a Monday evening and overnight? Probably another ½ inch to some spots 1.5 inches. This model also has a little bit higher in terms of rainfall amounts in northeast Georgia. You know, every single model is different. I'm going to show you another one. This is our HER model, our high resolution rapid refresh model. It's going to pull up in just a second just to show you a difference in those rainfall amounts. This is going even more intense on the rainfall with a lot more 2-inch plus totals in the next 24 hours before tomorrow evening. So this is a very wet day. One of the things that we get from the National Weather Service is the flood outlook, the flood risk outlook. They've highlighted for Monday in Northeast Georgia a marginal risk of excessive flooding. That's kind of baseline. We've been really dry. The rain today kind of, I think, moistened up the ground and kind of loosened it up. So this is not 2 inches of rain coming on, rock hard ground like a brick. So I think it's going to absorb the rainfall, but at times during the morning commute, as the rain's coming down and it's coming down at a pretty good clip, there could absolutely be some ponding, standing water on the roadways, not to mention just, when we've been dry for a few days and several weeks, we get oil buildup from the cars that's on the roadway. So when you introduce that first rain into the equation, it makes the roads a little extra slick. So we expect a very wet day tomorrow. I do not expect widespread flash flooding to be a concern, but nuisance, minor flooding could happen throughout the day tomorrow. Forecast track, few showers out there now, but after midnight, we will start to see the rain filling back in again. So here's 2:30 tomorrow morning, rain showers filling in, becoming a lot more widespread by 6 o'clock. So as you're hitting the road tomorrow morning to go into the office or get your kids to school, the rain's going to be filling in and it's picking up in intensity as well. So I think we're going to have some pretty intense, steady at times rainfall working through North Georgia between about 5 tomorrow morning and maybe 10 or so tomorrow morning as well. That'll be one of the better pushes of rain coming through. You can see here 8:30, 9 o'clock, still a lot of that rain. And then we see that brief lull in the rain. So it's not going to rain your house the entire morning nonstop. There could be some brief lulls that work in, and then more of that rain comes in again for the afternoon hours. So we'll see more of that rain pushing in by 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then finally, I think after 6 o'clock, as the commute's winding down in the evening, our steady rain also winds down as well. So widespread showers tomorrow morning. Some of that rain could be fairly, I don't want to call it tropical downpour heavy, but for fall and winter standards, it could be coming down pretty good. So the roads tomorrow going to be quite a mess. We will start in the morning, low 50s, some upper 40s. By the afternoon, we're only topping out in the mid 50s. It's going to be a cold day out there, and it's also going to be breezy. I mentioned this earlier, but I'll just show you it again. The forecast wind gusts. Watch how they pick up again. So right now, I'll back this back to currently. It's been a breezy day. We've had some wind gusts 20, 25 miles an hour, so watch them increase again by first thing tomorrow morning. Some of those wind gusts 20 to 30 here in the metro, and in the higher elevations, the ridge tops, in the North Georgia mountains and such, we could have some of those wind gusts pushing 35, maybe up to 40 miles an hour. It's like borderline wind advisory criteria. So it's going to be a gusty day tomorrow. Even through the afternoon, some of those wind gusts will still be 20 to 25 miles an hour. And that just kind of cuts through you when it's already cold outside, making it feel like a really raw, damp, chilly day that's going to be moving into North Georgia. Okay, so recapping 7-day forecast, and we'll get you back to football. And if you want to join us for more weather, we've got the 11 o'clock update on Hurricane Melissa coming in when we are on TV after Sunday Night Football. 55 degrees tomorrow. Weather impact alert. It is a big shock to the system. We are expecting widespread rain in the morning. Some of that rain could pick up to moderate levels in intensity, causing standing water, ponding water on the roadways. It's a very wet, slow commute on your Monday morning. And it's still wet for the afternoon commute. I expect more of that rain to be passing through at times. High at 55 degrees. We stay in the 50s for the week ahead with 60% chance of rain coming in by Wednesday. Luckily, this does look to clear out for Halloween on Friday. Remember, next weekend, we are just less than a week away now from falling back. Daylight saving time will be ending early Sunday morning. You'll have a 49-hour weekend next weekend with just a slight chance of some showers moving in on Sunday.